Hello there, and welcome to the Medicare Made Easy video library. The focus of this lesson will be to provide a general view of the various options you have as you transition to Medicare. You already know that Medicare can be confusing, but it might be clearer if you consider that there are really only two basic Medicare options or paths you can take when your goal is to have comprehensive health care. Since you can't take both paths, the first decision you'll need to make is which will be the right path for you. The first path starts with getting your Medicare card. You do this by enrolling in Medicare Parts A and B. Part A provides inpatient coverage, typically relating to hospital stays, but also includes skilled nursing, hospice care, and some home health care. Part B is your outpatient medical insurance and covers services from doctors as well as other healthcare providers. Part B is optional on this first path, but if you don't enroll, whenever you go to see a doctor, his or her office will see that Part B is missing from your Medicare card, and they will bill you instead of Medicare for your visit. Unless you have some other form of acceptable insurance, you will end up paying the bill out of your own pocket. The next stop on this first path is also optional. It would be to add a Medigap plan, otherwise known as Medicare Supplement Insurance. While Medicare Parts A and B are quite comprehensive, they do have gaps in what they cover. So if you take this first path, it will generally be a good idea to add a Medigap supplemental insurance policy to help fill these gaps. Now, when you go to the doctor or other healthcare provider, you show both your Medicare card and your Medigap card, and they will bill Medicare for part of their charges, and bill the insurance company who issued your Medigap policy for part or perhaps even all of the remaining charges, depending on which specific Medigap policy you selected. You can watch another video lesson in this library to learn more about the various Medigap policies available and the gaps each will help fill. The final stop on this first path is to add a prescription drug plan. Medicare refers to these as Part D drug plans. These plans are also optional, but considering the potentially high cost of many medications, unless you have another form of drug coverage, adding a Part D plan should be considered a necessary component if your objective is comprehensive coverage. When you go to have your prescriptions filled, you show your Part D plan card, and the pharmacy will bill the sponsoring insurance company for a portion of the cost of your medications. There is another video in this library that is devoted specifically to the topic of Part D prescription drug plans. To summarize this first path, assuming you make all three stops, you will end up with 3 cards to use to help pay for your health care. You'll have your Medicare card issued by the government, your Medigap supplemental insurance card issued by the insurance company you select, and your prescription drug card, also issued by an insurance company. Now, let's take a look at the second path that you might decide to take instead. First, it is important to understand that this path should not necessarily be viewed as better as or worse than the first path. Instead, it's simply a different way of getting your health care. It begins the same as the first path, in that you also start by enrolling in Medicare Parts A and B. From here, you have the option of making a second stop, where you can join a Medicare Advantage plan. These plans are referred to as Medicare Part C. Most Advantage plans are either HMO or PPO plans, and typically require you to use healthcare providers who are part of that plan's network. In contrast, when you take the first path, you can see any healthcare provider as long as they take Medicare. With the second path, where you join a Medicare Advantage plan, you will generally have to deal with using that plan's network of providers to receive your care. However, some Advantage plans do offer options for receiving care from out-of-network providers. Most Medicare Advantage plans come with prescription drug coverage already embedded in their plan. Joining one of these plans would mean that there won't be any additional stops for adding any supplemental coverage, and typically, no need to add drug coverage as well. This video library also contains a lesson on the topic of Medicare Advantage, where you can learn more about these plans. That's it for this overview of your primary Medicare options. Check out the other video lessons in this library dealing with Medicare Parts A and B, Medigap plans, Part C Advantage plans, Part D drug plans, and an entire range of subjects designed to help you achieve the retirement with dignity and peace of mind you deserve. Thanks for watching. See you in another lesson.